Hey there, welcome back to Owl Dragon Adventures. I'm Scott Kegler.
And I'm Rob McPherson.
And this is our review of Nut Hunt by Pine Island Games. So this is Nut Hunt, and this is a game that fulfilled off of Kickstarter recently, actually 3 months early. I had first heard about this game through the creator on TikTok, and I got a chance to play it on Tabletop Simulator, had a lot of fun with it, and backed the game. This is actually Pine Island Games' first, I think, fully produced game. They have another digital game out right now, which will be coming, Sigil, which will be coming out to Kickstarter, I believe. But this is their first fully produced game. You want to talk a little bit about the theme?
Yeah, so theme in this game is super light. It is literally just you are a pack of squirrels that is kind of spreading your family out into the wild and kind of going into different territories. And you've got your little adorable squirrel meeples, and then you've got their nests. And that's really the theme. Oh, then you're finding nuts and storing them so that you can.
You're hunting nuts.
You're hunting nuts,
enough.
yeah, and of course evading the fox.
Absolutely. So the mechanics of the game are pretty simple, and the strategy is very fun. Every turn, you're going to be rolling the fox dice here, die, and that will determine basically where the fox moves to.
Yep.
Now, if there are squirrels in the space where the fox moves to, they are moved to any other hex other than the hex that he started from on that turn. So that's effectively what happens with that movement, and wherever the fox lands at the beginning of your turn, that'll determine the type of nuts that you get to forage. So this is your resource gain in your turn, basically a gather income part of the turn.
Yep.
Then on your turn, you have one of three options. Very simple. You can either spend the resources, the nuts that you have, to spawn a squirrel in any of the locations on the board other than the Pine Barrens or the Frog Pond.
Yep.
You can pay the cost of, so this is a pecan and a chestnut. I would pay that, and I would place one of my squirrels there. You can also hassle the fox. So if I already had a squirrel there, I can, if I'm adjacent to him, I can make him come here and move my squirrel to Maple Way and get one of the nut types of that's on that hex. So I could either do here a chestnut or a pecan. The other action is to look at objective cards, draw two, and keep one to add to my objective pool. And these are what you're trying to do for end of game scoring, is connect these locations. So the giant toadstool to the Pine Barrens. So in this case, the Pine Barrens are here. I want to have at the end of the game a connection of those locations. Now I can do that through squirrels or nests.
Wow, that's an easy one to get in this.
Yeah,
one.
so that would be worth 6 points at the end of the game, plus 1 point for the distance bonus here on the board. So that's basically how you're trying to score those locations. The farther away they are, the more bonus points there are, and for every nest you have on the board, those are worth 2 points as well. And the great thing about nests is if the fox ever goes there, they don't move. They never are pushed out of the way.
Right.
So very simple game, plays in about half an hour. And that's the gist of all the mechanics. The gameplay is fairly kind of funny because I think just because of you're having to say nuts many times throughout the game.
I think probably the most entertaining part for me was the in terms of that regards is the fact the fox kept landing on the same people over and over and over again. Like it just kept chasing them, and there's no way that it was chasing them because it's a die roll.
But it was funny.
Yeah.
The fox movement is interesting. There's some clever ways in the gameplay to manipulate it or to plan on hopefully like I'm going to place squirrels here on the hope that the fox comes here because I need him to knock into this area because there's a couple locations like this perfect example. This one to score. It's so valuable because Pine Barrens is one that you can never recruit to.
Right.
So it's worth a lot more points than other ones because even if they're pretty close, I always have to use the fox to get squirrels in that location because I can't pay to place them there. So I think the gameplay there's a fun light like kind of family weight strategy to the gameplay. I really enjoyed it the few times I've played it so far. So right now for myself, I'm from a gameplay like a mid to high right now. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it about a mid for gameplay. It does have a good puzzle to it. It's It's very, as we've noted a few times, and this is intentional. It is very light, so there's not much variety of things going on. But yeah, no, it's a solid game.
Yeah, it's in that family weight class right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
From an accessibility side, the game is incredibly accessible. I think I walked you through the game. You would understand the mechanics of it and what you would do in the strategy. I think even with playing with small children, like my son would be playing this game, would get it, and the silliness of it would be amusing to them. Like if an accessibility, like, oh yep, I roll this, the fox moves this way, and hilarity ensues.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, there's no question. High accessibility, very easy game to learn.
Great rule book. One of my favorite things. Right off the bat, we have our components on the first page, so I know exactly what everything is. And let's see here. I thought that this was very easy. It's not a heavy game, but I thought everything was pretty well laid out in this rule book. So,
nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Design.
From a design standpoint, I thought everything was very crisp here as far as understanding everything. I think the iconography was pretty easy to follow. I think the only couple things I found to not be as clear sometimes is like, I don't know why. I understand because it needs to look like a chestnut, but sometimes I found chestnut to be the one that I always had to double check and go like, oh right, that's chestnut. Green, it's just because it wasn't as easy. Like I found myself always being able to identify walnut, pecan, and acorn a lot faster. And I know that's stupid because it's the only green card, but there's just, I think just the design of it.
I'll agree with that. I think my only complaint about it is that those icons could have popped out a little bit more to make them a little bit easier. I'll be honest, on this table, maybe it's because my lighting is a little bit better here. I've got many pointing down at it right now. I'm seeing it easier than I was the other night when we were playing it. And maybe it's just because I was tired. I didn't even notice the colors the other night. So I think they could have just been maybe like 10, 20% bigger or just a little bit more. I think if they were just about,
or
again, 20% bigger or a band around it or something like that, just make it pop a little bit more. But at the same time, I do think that once you know the game, like now if I play this a second time, it's not going to be a problem. It's just the initial observation of it.
Yeah, and I thought the art was overall fun. It's I mean, it's these kind of nature backgrounds.
Yeah, it looks like a forest. It looks like a forest, yeah.
Yeah, so fun there. I mean, the cards, everything is on point. There's nothing that, like, I have any, I guess, like, strong negative feelings about or, like, anything that I'm like, oh, my God, I love this part of the art. Like, it's all really good. I mean, I do love a nice custom-cut meatball, so the fox is fun.
All of the squirrels are different custom-cut. I'm going to give bonus points for that.
Oh, right. We did notice that. We did like that the other night.
All the squirrels are different.
All the squirrels for each faction are different.
Yep.
Which is
little attention to detail. Really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So next would be quality.
Yep.
Everything is feels pretty good. The
linen texture. Yep.
Yeah, I the linen cards are nice. I don't even think they necessarily. I mean, I always love linen cards, but you didn't have to go this far, so I think that's a great quality.
Yeah, because you don't shuffle this game very much, and that's kind of when that.
Well, linen really is so yeah. So, but like having it is nice because the cards are just going to last longer, and I think it speaks to the quality of the game. I like having wooden tokens is a nice tactile. I think the hexes are fun. This kind of goes back to a little bit of other categories, quality and gameplay and design. I kind of like that all the hexes are always going to be used and they're just random. So it's very easy to break it out and not have to be like, oh, which ones do I take out?
Yeah,
in this
that's
player
fair.
Count of the game?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah.
And sometimes that comes up in games, and it's just nice. Like, hey, they're in the box. You use all of them.
Yep.
So I do like that, and I think that's fantastic. No other real quality problems. I love that this is a pretty well thought out.
It's a very utilitarian storage solution. It works really well without having to be completely and utterly customized. Like we don't need. I mean, granted, the only thing I could think of was like a complete custom. Like you wouldn't need like a complete custom cutout for the fox that like some people.
My only complaint is there's cards in here, and I had to travel over here to record here at Rob's. I wish there was a plastic cover for this because the cards were all over the place when I got here. So only small gripe with the storage solution.
If you store your games horizontal and not vertical.
But just traveling with it too.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna take opportunity to dig you.
That too as well, but like it did not travel well.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
value.
I mean, the game, two things I like to say about value in this game. It's $35. It was on Kickstarter. And I think that's going to end up being either the retail, it's like 35 or 40.
Yeah.
But that's what it was on Kickstarter. And I also really appreciated that it was just putting out, Pine Island Games was putting out a valuable game that didn't have all these bells and whistles in the Kickstarter campaign. Like, we're just going to put out this,
we believe in this game.
Yeah. We're not going to try to seduce you with a bunch of other... metal squirrels or upgrades and all these things.
No, metal squirrels.
That's a great name for that. Now, Pine Island Games, if you do make a game, you got to make it metal squirrels. We just want to call out if you make metal squirrels. Figure it out. It's a combat game, obviously. Anywho, I think for the value of this game, this is one I think is going to stay as a nice family weight staple for me. Heavier gamers probably not going to be as much here for you. I think it's kind of it's funny enough where I think you'll enjoy it, but I think the value here is definitely going to be with those family-like gamers who want something that they can knock out at the end of a night or the beginning of a night as a warm-up, cool-down game.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'll agree with everything you just said about value. Yep, because I didn't spend any money on it, so I can't really. But yeah, no, I think it for the price that you just quoted, I think that it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get that out of the game.
Yep.
Particularly when knowing that this is their first game and coming out and having to produce it at that price point. I think that's solid.
Yeah, and I mean, if nothing else, I know what custom cut meeples cost.
Right.
I've looked it up. Like, I know what these cost. Right. So you're getting your money's worth.
Right. And having all those different faction choices, basically up to 5 players game. Yeah. I
call them factions. That is the strongest term for what you have.
And just look at the pride in that face of that squirrel. It's definitely a faction, yeah. They're a proud people, the yellow squirrels. So, anywho, so I really enjoyed it. I overall, I think this is a really good family weight game. I could see myself busting out. Probably shouldn't use the word busting with the Nut Hunt game too much, but anyways.
I'm going to have to put a warning on this video.
Well, I mean, I think Jasper from Pine Island Games, I think he already had some funny ones in November about this game. So
no, but I mean, like, literally, YouTube requires me to put warnings on.
You can edit it out or bleep me.
There's going to be some bleeps.
Anywho,
I can't believe a family weight game is the first time I'm gonna have to bleep a video.
Congratulations.
That's an award right there. Like,
sure,
that I can't put on the channel because of the same reasons.
Right. I mean, I didn't say anything wrong. I just alluded to it. I think we're safer there. But anywho, I really enjoy the game. I'm coming in at it for right now. It may change based on more plays. Right now, I'm at a 7.5 out of 10. I think this is a solid family weight game. I will look forward to tabling again and look forward to what other games Pine Island Games puts out.
I'm sitting at about a 7 right now out of 10. It's a bit light for my liking. It does do what it does very well, I think. My only real complaint that I think that really dings it for me is I personally believe it overstays its welcome on the table by about probably about 20% or so. I think it needs to go a little bit faster for the mechanics that are there. I will qualify by saying that I don't have kids, so I can't think about it from that respect. And this is clearly targeted towards families, so maybe I'm just not the target audience, and that's why it's sitting where it is. But for somebody who I like my puzzles, I like my mechanics, it's just a little bit too light and it's a little bit too long for it. But still, I mean, it's a 7 out of 10. It's still a solid title.
A solid game. You wouldn't say no if it got dropped.
No, absolutely not. This is absolutely a game where it's like, oh, you want to play this? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like,
yeah, I don't start to fight to get things to the table until I'm about an 8. So like 7.5 is like, I like this a lot. Yeah. I would say like, let's play it. But like I hear you on that.
Yeah, and it takes like a 6 or a 6.5 before like it's like, do you want to play this game? I'm like, I guess.
Yeah. So no, I think it's a really good game.
I would definitely play this again.
Yeah, I would love to see I'm already talking about like bespoking it, but like I love having chips for things. So I think having like the various, I understand why these are cards.
Yeah,
but I think you could totally do tokens instead of the game.
Sure,
and that would give me that tactile.
I think that cut down on cost significantly.
Oh, I totally understand why, and I unnecessarily bespoke games when I play them. I upgrade my own games. I could see that giving some. I know.
I do believe that each faction is missing one squirrel overlord that is just like a larger.
Yeah, you need a super squirrel. Obviously, you need a super squirrel in the game. But no,
your expansion.
We're joking around a lot, but like had a lot of fun with this game. if you enjoyed it, if you have any questions about it, because I know I don't think it's out in the wild much other than the Kickstarter copies of the game.
It's a Squirrel Forest joke.
Happy to check in on any questions you have regarding it from Pine Island Games. So go ahead and leave those in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Don't report us for our jokes in this game, hopefully. With that, we hopefully wish you enjoy all of your future board game adventures.
And thank you for joining us on ours.